I ask right now that if you're watching this video, just give it some time for the idea to come out all the way. And I ask all my faculties and my facilities in this moment, so that my mind serves my heart, and that I be guided towards only that which is the most true. So I've been on this journey, man, and it really started with depression. It started with deep, uncurable sadness that caused me to ask this question of, what is sadness? What is God? What is one supposed to do with a lifetime? And it sent me on this journey to studying every religion that I found, every sacred master teacher that I could come across, and analyzing what the hell they found. And what is this thing called life in the human experience? And what is meant by heaven and hell? And why does DMT show these things? What is the chemical properties of LSD, and how come Steve Jobs found this apple, and where are we at right now, and what's going on? And the moon kept coming to me as like my signpost, my guidepost in this journey. My lens kept getting directed back to the moon, and I would ask God, I would pray, and I would just say, just show me what I'm supposed to be focusing on. I have energy to be putting on something. What is it supposed to be put on? And not every time, but it kept coming back to the moon. And so this wild conspiracy, started unveiling itself. And like many of us, I spent countless hours on YouTube and watching Inspired by Zeitgeist to go and find why, Tower 7 and all these things, and who are the Rothschilds really, and what's going on? What is going on? And it got me to this really interesting door handle. And I say the term door handle as the idea that a term can be used as a entrance point into a room of understanding, or a room of conversation, or a room of concept, or maybe it's just a hallway. But either way, the door handle can be used to turn and then move into specifically. Because sometimes we're in conversation, we're like, oh, wait, what's going on? So moving into it, door handle being, what's the difference between Saturn and Satan? That door handle took me into a place that, literally in the last 6 months, today's December 11th, 2017. And in the last 6 months, it's been this real whoa kind of process of that door handle showing some things to me. And basically it's like this, man. They're at war. They have us in a cage. And why am I affected by it? Because it's like they found out aspects of the game. They found cheat codes and didn't tell anybody. And that's part of the game as well. That's part of playing online. That's part of plugging in and participating, is that, yeah, other people find good stuff. But they found this stuff and they kept it, and they made it private and concealed it, but it's super distorted. And they used it as wielding for their ego and separation. And so it's separation warfare. And I know me, I'm a part of the Rainbow Tribe, Crystal Children, Indigo group that has come here to help Gaia move into the next chapter of its process. This is the second coming. This is the art renaissance. This is the age of Aquarius. This is moving into the next Yuga. And I'm tired of these bad guys. Who are the bad guys? The Illuminati are not the only bad guys. Satan is not the bad guy. These demonic entities that are serving these higher archonic reptilian lineages of unconscious testosterone, masculine domination on the earth is what the fuck is going on. And that's my problem. That's my issue. Why? Because I grew up with a really interesting lens of the world and what one is supposed to do. And I got super scared of what ego is, because I was like, whoa, is there a way to calibrate this thing? And so there's this crazy mechanism in society right now that magnetizes many by their genitals to participate in this sex worship of demonic force. And from my current context, it's something about a big spider spirit that's like planting eggs and sewing webs, etheric quantum webs. And they're raping the Akashic records, and they're raping anything they come into contact with, really. And the main thing that's fucked up is they raped Jesus. They raped the story of Yeshua. This is where I start. This is where I started. Not really where it is really where I started. My relationship with Jesus has been my first divine reference point. Then I got turned off by blind Christians and went on like a 7-year journey of trying to avoid Christ. I tried to find esoteric knowledge. I tried to find occult knowledge. I tried to find the truth. I've been interested in the truth this whole time. And in 2016, I find yoga, and Yogananda's like, yeah, Yogi Christ. And I'm like, Yogi Christ? What does that term even mean? And then I'm like, oh, well, the Romans are the one who killed Jesus. Romans, Vatican, Catholicism, Christianity, America, exponent of European separatist independence movement, epitome of revolution, westward expansion, manifest destiny, the end of a chapter of Earth. Whoa, seems really fucking significant. Seems really like a lot of stuff is going on. I'm really overwhelmed. A couple more side context bars. I don't know why, but I just felt super like spiritually strong as like a 15 to 17 year old. 18, started getting depressed, and still though God was this reference point. So I basically saw my dad being a rock star and just basically being God in his own world, and literally having an empire, like having houses in different states and just going from one kingdom to the next, and everybody really works for him. My family, everyone in the family is he's moving it all. I'm like, whoa, that's the next. I don't know anybody else is doing that. And my mom has this degree in metaphysics and all these books of God and Course in Miracles, and it's like peace and love and light, but from a traumatized post-Catholic pre-digital age reference point. And so I was given like ideas of what God was and what Jesus was, and also what the devil was, and what Satan was, and what sinning was, and what lying was, and these things like that growing up. Basically, by the time I was 18, I was just like fucking really confused, and I was like, this doesn't make any sense. Nothing is making sense. People saying you work really hard, you want to do something in the world, you work really hard and do it. Buddhists are saying don't work at all, stop everything and just sit down. I was like, why do I feel like I'm gonna miss out on something? Then the moon really comes in 2019. Scott Mescudi is singing about it. I'm like, I'm living in Los Angeles by myself at that point, and he's singing about the moon, and I'm like, why does this seem like it's way more about the moon? It seems like it's about something else. It seems like it's about this pure divine light at nighttime. Have you ever been to heaven at night? Heaven at night. And I was like, whoa, what does this mean? And this is where I'm going at, and I'm doing my best to go into it, and I'm doing my best to go right at it. These archons are like reptiles outside of space and time as we know it on Gaia in 3D. We can conceive and comprehend and see them on 5D and up, I think. I think that's where I experienced them with clarity, with the assistance of DMT. But I brought back this experience and new geometry to see through into my waking state, my normal state, my daily state. And I started to see this geometry and pattern and rhythm exude itself when sexual energy came up in a perverted way. And so the Illuminati and this idea that, so basically, if you listen to the modern pop culture hip-hop community, there's only a handful of people who say Illuminati. There's only a handful of people who even say the word. And I bet you this, you listen to all of them, you stack them up together, they're all flipped upside down to where thine eye is single, but it's from Muladhara. Their whole shit is flipped upside down, because I think this is where I'm currently at with it. May I be guided towards what is most true in this, and may you get only that which benefits you in your highest essence from me speaking this now. It's as though Satan is Saturn in a Roman Catholic Christian lensing, with an entity and a personification imbibed upon the reference point that it was Saturn, which is very rigid, very masculine, oriented around things of structure and things of right angles, 90-degree angles on the matrix plane of Earth. Society is built with the coal of Saturn. It's blocks and it's cubes. And so then, yeah, Catholicism, you know, so J-Man's talking about really oneness and love and unity consciousness, and he's speaking about it without anything of called Christianity. It's the way. It's just the way, which is exactly what Siddhartha did with different lensing. And he wasn't in this Hebrew Jerusalem, you know, Mecca epicenter of all this stuff that was going on, which for whatever reason, which I feel like has something to do with it being near the Fertile Crescent, it causes things to be amplified in a certain way. Siddhartha versus Jesus. And so Saturn is Satan. Satan is a really twisted, kind of like ghoulish Catholic projection of what Saturn was. My current feeling and understanding of it is that Satan is a being in a similar way to how in the Hindu lens you have Shiva and you have Shakti, you have but Kali, like Kali is this goddess of, like war and destruction, and just kind of like, she's like eating dudes' heads, and I saw that, and I was like, whoa, that's Satan, but in a feminine form and in a Hindu lensing. But it has a lot to do with what Satan represents. It's like what Beowulf is about. Beowulf seems to be about the Christ. It's like so many stories are about the Christ within, not Jesus Christ. Jesus was dude named Yeshua HaMashiach, as I currently understand it. Check out a YouTube channel called Uplifting Humanity. Dude's name is Billy, and he's a divine teacher sent to help us. And Yeshua HaMashiach. And so Yeshua was just doing work. He was doing alchemy, he was healing, he was being a shaman, he was being that which he is. And then Romans, all of a sudden there's a book, it's called something. Paul comes after. Paul gets knocked off his horse. He's like, whoa, what am I seeing? Paul was killing people named Saul. Paul was Saul, and when Paul was Saul, Saul was killing Christians because they were Christians. And then he gets knocked off his horse, he goes blind, and he sees Christ, and he sees the light, and he sees what's true. And then everything's different after that. And that's basically exactly what happened to me. and I literally heard the word Paul whispered into my ear in a dream at 3:30 a.m. on December 27th, 2016, and I got freaked out, and water was coming out of my eyes, and I didn't understand what it meant, but I knew that I needed to research Paul. So I did, and I saw that that's what happened. And so then I'm listening to all my favorite hip-hop music, and I'm like, why do these folks keep saying Illuminati? Why only very specific ones? What do they want from it? What do they mean from it? What do they want from it? And it seems to be an access point or a door handle into some type of alignment with the being and the energetic force that is referred to as Satan by many, but can be referred to as other names. Satan is just a word that refers to a place in the experience. I'm saying that in my lensing right now, as what I understand that to be, is a being. Satan seems to be removed of, and then where does Lucifer come in? This is another good question. And so it seems like Lucifer is the door handle into a partnership with Satan, who is Saturn, to manifest kind of raped sexual Kundalini manifestation. And why is this so fucked up, and why does it fuck me up, is because all I've wanted to do is participate and belong, and yet I've been this rainbow child empath since I was a kid, and I saw my dad make music about, you know, women's genitals, and be super. It made me terrified, bro. It made me want to kill myself. It made me want to kill myself as a offering to my family, as a beacon of like message in a bottle that it's too fucked up for me to even deal with. And it also has to deal with some of the trauma that this one, Rocco, got in regards to sexuality, because my dad had an affair and there was a child out of wedlock, and my mom, her lensing of that trauma, I received much of that, close contact with it. And you know, that augmented my ability to connect in a sincere, genuine way to women in my out of adolescence into adulthood. And so this belonging, seeking connection. I've always just been seeking connection. Hi, I'm Rocco. Nice to meet you. And then I feel these projections from people because they think my dad is somebody, or they think that I'm somebody in regards to something that they heard about one time that's a social reference point that could be of value to them. So they get immediately heart center, potentially heart center out of the way, ego in presence, and wanting and seeking in this witness thing of absence of embodiment of spirit, and they become the flesh, and they become this desiring social proximity to epicenter of culture. And so I felt that as, and that's what Ayn Rand calls fountainhead. That's what fountainhead is about. It's about people who are that. People who become the fountainhead that the rest of society drinks from, what they are accessing from source, from spirit, channel, whatever. That's a different story. So then I get yogic context as to what the sexual centers are called, and Svanistana being orange, the chakra below the navel, and then Muladhara being the red chakra at the bottom of the spine. And those being the two most influential energy centers in the body, main energy centers in the body, in regards to sexual energy and sexuality. And yeah, my whole thing was like wanting to connect with girls, and then there's like this wild masculine like paradigm program running in my brain telling me to like be away with girls when I'm intimate. And started playing role I seen in movie. She's playing role she's seen somewhere. Out of touch with heart center and in mind, projecting egoic animus onto the now, onto the moment. And so can't use Eckhart's technology because removed from now, from lensing that is virus. The lensing is virus. And this is why I wanted to commit suicide. And this is why I feel many do, because it's an endless deprogramming. As soon as you deprogram one, or you think you make it through one thing, another virus shows up. And why am I so passionate and adamant to speak about this is because these people are wanting to get their family out of this, you know, financial depravity or situation, and they're like, yo, I'll worship whatever. And worship is just an energetic giving, an energetic dedication towards one thing, and that's putting us as a spiral, as a unity consciousness in a direction towards 6, as opposed to 9. You flip the 6 and it becomes 9, and we can complete and we can move on. And they're using 6 weaponry, 6 sorcery, 666 sorcery, which is carbon sorcery, to get us to be stuck in our bodies so that we can't move into Gaia 2.0. Enlighten the second coming, the next age of Aquarius, the next thing that we all feel in our hearts is supposed to happen. And some of us are doing it, and we're like, oh yeah, they did it, they made it through, and we cheer for them, and we're excited for them. And they get on the other side, and they try to talk to us with what they found. They get up on the mountain, and they're saying, look what I found up here. And we're down here, we're like, what did you find? We don't get it. How do we get up there? And then that's the disconnect. And those people are the way showers. And this is how the relationship of all of us has been since this thing called life has been happening. I remember some of my time in Atlantis. I remember some of my time in Egypt. I remember some time in France in the 17th century. I remember a time before there was dating that seems like before the last ice age, where I was that which is pre-human but of upright bipedal hominid sentient life form without verbal language communication skills. I've been working with plant medicine. I've been working with my guides. Archangel Michael came into my life at 22. I got that tattoo before 22. 22, I was born on July 22nd, 1990, and my whole universe started to refract and condense and collapse on itself. So that the reflection here that I'm looking at is going zzz. It's like when you're holding a mirror and another mirror. It's like a mirror and then another mirror, and then a laser pointer, and you're trying to point the laser at the mirror so that it cancels out, or at least synchronizes with its own beam. And I think that's what ultralight beam is pointing at. But that's what union is. That's what yoga is when we become single-pointed, and we become full tonality of who we are. We are all music, vibrational beings, and when we can come into full alignment with who we are in truth, then we sing in the great canvas that is this dimension. And when we sing, then we can move out of 3D lockdown and into higher dimensions. And these folks using this wild ass symbolism and shit are literally at war with us. Who is us? Us is Christ, fam. Us is our heart center. Us is the beingness that you're hearing inside of me, speaking this through Rocco's context towards the beingness in you. The doing that's taking place right now is listening on your end and speaking on my end. But there's beingness that we share. You hear the place in which I'm coming from, which is here more than it is here. But here is faculty for here to share and connect. And you hear where I'm coming from. I hope you hear where I'm coming from. I'm frustrated. I feel like I've been out of my purpose. I feel like the Illuminati been scaring me to speak my truth. I feel like I look at the eyes of some of these people that are in the entertainment industry and using these numeric codes to instigate within us Roman Catholic Christian viruses that prevent us from aligning with our sole purpose for incarnating. That's why. Buckle up, man. I'm gonna pray real quick on the outro here. Divine ascended beings and masters of lighthood and the light counsel that is always present to us in this time and this place, in our bodies as we are here on this earth. Assist us in what we are needing to be moving towards. Assist us in aligning with our heart center. Assist us in aligning with our truest of true. Assist us in moving beyond that which is false into that which is true. May we move out of the darkness and into the light. May we be single-pointed in our unification with that which is our home. Asato ma sadgamaya. Tamaso ma joitir gamaya, May we be eternal and move beyond temporariness. May we be unified and move beyond separation. May we be elevated and move beyond our depressions. May we be tuned to the harmonic scale of all things that is positivity and love and the unification of many separate, appearingly separate human beings on this planet called Earth. Namaste.